All right, welcome back, Van Heist. This week we're going to be talking more about kinetic art. Now remember, last week I introduced you to the idea of kinetic art, or art that moves. And whereas a lot of kinetic art is moving because of some external force like wind or water, we're going to be building a piece of kinetic art today that is moving due to human interaction. This is going to be an interactive piece that we can build out of paper and sort of turn into kinetic art. So this week for inspiration, we are looking at an aspiring origami artist named Z Hao Lo, who has come up with some really incredible and geometric designs using really just paper and tape. And sort of abstract pieces that this artist creates can be really small, and then in an instant can be manipulated into becoming these large-scale forms. And they're pretty hypnotizing when you see the artist kind of playing around with them. So we're going to be using this artwork as inspiration this week, although what we're making is going to be a little bit more simple than one of these 100 cube sculptures. But it's going to require some paper, some folding, and some tape. So let's get started. All right, so for today's kinetic paper sculpture, we're going to need a few things. First of all, you're going to need paper, of course. I'm going to try out this project with some construction paper, but printer paper will work as well. We're also going to need a scissors and some tape. Either masking tape or scotch tape, whatever you have should be able to work. So I'm going to work with this red paper here, and this paper's not quite as stiff as I'd like it to be, but I'm going to see if it works anyways. First thing I want to do is I want to split this paper into 4 equal segments. I'm going to be cutting this into strips, and I want each strip to be the same size. So a great way to split something into 4 segments is to fold it once, in half, and fold it again. When I open it up, I can see my cutting lines. All right, once you have 4 strips that are approximately the same size, we're going to be turning each of these into sort of like a cube form. And I'll show you how we do that. I'm going to take one, fold it in half, hamburger style. And then instead of just folding it in half again, I'm going to open it back up. And I'm going to take each edge and I'm going to fold it to that crease, just like this. And make a new crease. See that? Now, I should be able to have the 2 ends meet, and I have something kind of like a cube. I'm going to take a little tape. And I'm going to attach these 2 ends by sticking the tape on one end, carefully sticking it to the other end. Give it a fold. All right, there we go. I'm going to repeat that process 3 more times. All right, I've got my 4 cubic forms all ready. It looks like they're each about the same size. Now, we're going to be connecting these at some certain points. So this is a larger version of the finished product. And you can see some of the connecting points are going to be where these corners match up with the different cubes. So what I want you to try is arranging your 4 cubes to make something that looks kind of like a plus sign. And you can see everywhere that the cubes touch each other, those are gonna be our contact points. And we're gonna add some tape there. So I'm gonna put some tape on the inside and the outside of each contact point. So maybe I'll just start with these two. I'm gonna get 2 pieces of tape at the ready. Here's what I'm gonna do. Attach the 2 at the contact point, give it a fold. So I'm gonna do it on the inside and the outside of the contact point. And now we should have a little hinge system. Open, close. All right, we can do that same thing now, attaching this cube to these 2 at that contact point. All right, just one more. This one can get a little bit tricky. We're gonna attach it to this contact point, but we also have to attach it to this one. And I'll walk you through that step. Okay, we got just one more contact point to go here. The cool thing about using paper for this project is paper is really collapsible. It can be sturdy enough to stand on its own, but when you need it to kind of squish or be manipulated in a different direction, it's able to do that for you. So I've got my piece there, so now I need to figure out how to get a piece on the inside. I'm gonna kind of pinch these 2 together, slide my tape in, all right, I think I got it. All right, and there we have it. This is our Z How Low inspired kinetic paper sculpture. Now this one is a lot more basic than some of the forms that he creates, but it can go from looking something kind of like a 4-panel window to a plus sign really quickly. And there's all these interesting little shapes and forms in between that you can make as well. And what's cool about working with paper is that not only does it, keep the cube shape, it also is able to bend, sort of like how I mentioned when we were taping these together. So I'm curious to see what type of forms that you can create using your Z How Low inspired kinetic sculpture. It can even stand on its own too. And I was experimenting for a little while trying to get this sculpture to walk on its own, because it is able to almost like roll around a little bit. All right, thanks so much for watching. Post a few photos of some different forms that you can create with your paper sculpture, and we will be discussing the outcomes at our next Zoom meeting. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great week.